a real pleasure to come and meet Property Tribe's members at their actual development projects, and I'm here in Lincoln, and a real pleasure to meet up with Kim Stones and his business partner Ryan Carruthers. And guys, so great to meet you, because we've seen each other online and talked online, haven't we? Yeah. And now finally we're here at probably what is your biggest project ever. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here at this former pub in Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, we bought this pub a little while ago, got planning on it, turned it into a 10-bed upstairs HMO, student HMO, with 4 flats downstairs and including this mini house at the back. And then we also got Hotcha, which is a national Chinese takeaway commercial unit on 1350 square feet at the front. They're on a 10-year lease. Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, what was the attraction to you of kind of moving up from kind of standard single occupancy buy-to-let to go up into kind of quite a significant mixed use project?
Well, I've always wanted to do something massive, and I met an investor very early on in my property sort of journey who'd converted pubs, and I just thought, gosh, if I had 3 or 4 of them with no mortgage on, that'd be me out. And then when this one came up, I just thought he would buy that and that would work, and the size of it. So then I just rang him and said, look, we're having this and let's make it work, basically, and that's what we did.
Because you're a great fan of kind of seeing the angle, aren't you?
Yeah.
What was the angle you saw here?
Yeah. It was a good point. I mean, the angle is that you could split up into several units. So there's a 4-bed on its own that you could retitle. So you can, in a commercial property, you can retitle it and sell it on a long leasehold, 99 years or 999 years leasehold. And so effectively it's a freehold. So it's like, 4 in one side, the 6 in the other. Then downstairs you have the 4 flats. They're all inclusive. And then at the front you've got Hotcha, which is the commercial element, which we could completely split off and sell. Not that we intend to do that, but again, that was the angle. It was like, if the worst case scenario comes where we need to either pay down loans or whatever, we know we can peel it off. And any project that we are looking at, and we're currently looking at several projects that might not happen, we'll see how things go, but it's those kind of angle that we need to try and get into, especially when you go for bigger kind of projects. So kind of buy-to-let, 3-bed, you look and think, what can go wrong, but on something like this, it's very easy to get into an hole and it go wrong,
Indeed, and I guess it's interesting to kind of think about how you can scale up. How do you take that jump from, single occupancy buy-to-let into a much bigger project? Well, obviously, getting the finance is like a massive part of that, but having the kind of mindset to do it as well.
Yeah, I think that's part of the great thing about mine and Kim's relationship. We very much know what each other brings to the team. So I scare Kim a lot of the time. I took him to a 70,000 square foot commercial building. I was like, come on, we can do this. And he's like, whoa, calm down. So having both of us together is great, because I will go out and find lots and lots of deals, knowing then what Kim wants from that deal, and then he brings me back down and then looks at the angle. He's always looking at that angle, and if he does try and sell any of this building off, I will come for him in his sleep.
This is his baby.
This is my baby. So yeah, I find all of these deals, and then now working with Kim, I've picked up the angle and I sound like him, like when you say, oh my God, that's what my dad would say. That has now started happening to me. So I look at things and go, I can't do that because the angle's not there. So that eliminates that. So the experience that Kim brought to sort of my life as well, that's enabled us to be able to look at these projects, and then also the people he knows, because when we looked to do this project, we'd never done a pub. Got on the phone to Kim, he just goes through his phone, finds someone who's done one, and then he speaks to them. So then you mitigate that risk. You're never going to get all of the risks gone, but to be able to use your network, that Kim's got a massive extensive network, is great, especially on a project like this.
And also, of course, the broker, and you work with Shawbrook as well on this, and you had a bridging loan, and also Shawbrook provided the term finance as well. So all of that basically came together to help make it the success that it's become.
Yeah, it is that team, because timing is the essence of it. It's okay being with a bank and that, but you can be confident that things do happen on time. And solicitors as well. I mean, that's another part, is actually a lot of this isn't the banks when it does get bogged down. It can get bogged down at the solicitors, and that's another key part of developing your team. And people say, well, how do you find your team? Well, you just find one and eliminate it until you find a good one. Just move on to the next one. It's like, don't stress over it, just kind of go out there and find it. And eventually we found a a good team, and that includes, you know, Brooklands, which is our broker, Malcolm and Laura, and Shawbrook is the bank that's funding this one, and we've been really happy with that.
I mean, having had a look round, I can see that when you first came here, I've seen the pictures, it was derelict, it was full of rubbish. I mean, it's a huge undertaking, and, you know, how did you have the confidence to do it?
You know, people say, you know, oh, you just kind of do it, and no, you don't. You know, it's like, but I also think sometimes it's about getting yourself in a position where you can't say no. You know, it's like leveraging on yourself, you know, because naturally 99% of people will automatically say, oh, I can't do that. That's a human nature thing. So it's having I believe, is having the kind of understanding and foresight to be able to say, well, actually, I know that feeling's going to be there. And sure enough, when I drove home that night after agreeing this one, and I was thinking, oh, you know, it's like, because it was out of the comfort zone. And I've got a large portfolio doing what I'm doing, and it works. However, this was something different, and actually since this one, we're now looking at things that there's no way 2 years ago, 3 years ago that I'd have said I'd have been involved in it, you know, and that's his fault, so I can blame him. But it is that you can pull each other along, and it is getting yourself in that position where you go, well, no, you know, I would have felt that if we didn't pull this off, I put myself in a position where I would have felt personally that we'd failed.
What advice would you give to developers who are looking to scale up? Because this is, you know, many common discussions on property tribes about how to keep building your business. What advice would you give to those people?
Ooh, firstly, I'd say just find someone who is at the level that you want to be at.
Yeah.
They're tried, they're tested, they've come through the pitfalls, they've been through the recession, they've had projects go wrong. They're going to teach you so much about everything, not just about the project, about the finance, about solicitors. So if you want to get to that level, just go and see them. You know, most of the time they're not going to charge you for it. They might want a coffee, but in that hour, 2 hours, if you sat with Kim, it'll be a lot longer. But they're going to teach you so much about the real life property developing that you can't get anywhere else. So if you want to scale up, speak to somebody. You know, their project is their baby as well. They're going to want to talk about it. So if you ask them questions about it and you're humble, etc., they're going to give you so much valuable information. And you never know where that's going to lead to either. If you're not ready to do a deal of that size, but you come across one, you're going to go to them. They're going to then potentially let you be involved in that deal. So you're going to get the hands-on experience of managing a deal or finding out what went wrong firsthand. So just send people messages and have some drinks with them.
Very good advice, Ryan. Yes. Just to finish, Kim, I guess, you know, we've got the threat of Section 24 for your sole trader, landlord. You know, we're seeing a lot of interest in semi-commercial and mixed use. Why do you think that is? I mean, obviously, there's not the stamp duty surcharge issue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's extra 3% on stamp duty with the residential element, so that's kind of deterred people or pushed people into this kind of project. I don't think that would have impacted us, in all honesty. It would have made a difference. We'd have still done it. It was the next stage of the journey that we wanted to kind of go, and we'd aligned ourselves and we'd got to know each other, so we knew both of us wanted it. But at the same time as well, you know, the threat of S24 and you know, this transition that everybody's going through at the moment, you know, it includes me. I mean, probably 2/3 of my portfolio is personal names, you know, either me or me and my wife and that, and we have to do something with it, you know, depending on what happens with, you know, hopefully Ian Duncan Smith's going to kind of pull it out of the bag for us, and you never know, and get rid of it. We are, yeah. I mean, we're all kind of praying that kind of, you know, and Steve Bolton's doing a great job on that. I mean, fair play to those guys and so on. And it's like, you know, we really hope that happens. But if it doesn't happen, we can't bury the head. You know, we can't ignore it. It is a challenge. It's costing me now, you know, from April. I'm starting to move properties across, but probably not too many yet, because I think we're trying to do it in a one-off kind of thing in the future. But it is challenges that are gonna affect us. But then that's, like I said, that drives people to these kind of projects, you know. And I also think as well, it's the kind of quality side of things. When you're dealing with a higher quality of product, you know, for me, it's been an absolute joy to be involved in it, because, again, you know, I come from a product that is more, you know, I've done a lot of DSS in my time and so on. It's been great. Don't get me wrong. It works well for us, and it has done in the past. but there are challenges for all of us. So we, you know, and I think the other thing as well at the moment is where those challenges are coming from, because it does feel like they're coming from all directions. You know, it does. It's not one thing. I often, for a while, I was kind of, you know, having a victim mentality, thinking, well, it's just me, you know, and it's not. It's like, you know, all the landlords out there that are established like ourselves, you know, are suffering from challenges, you know, and it's not easy being a landlord, but we choose to do it. You know, we're in it for the long haul. You know, I think, you know, the message of things, the get rich quick schemes, you know, I suppose I was kind of guilty of that to a certain extent, and as much as, you know, I used to do some seminars and so on, but for me it didn't kind of pan well, it didn't sit well, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not about getting rich quick. You know, if you get rich quick, you're going to lose it quick. You know, that's what my thought is. You've got to learn it, you're going to take time, it's going to hurt a little bit, you've got to work out, you know, your emotional bank account, whether you're capable of doing it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing worse than pushing yourself into something that's then going to totally wipe you out mentally. You've got to understand yourself, and then either decide which direction you're going to go. But a part of those decisions are the S24 is going to limited company now, and that includes me.
Any final kind of sage words of advice for anybody watching this that's feeling a little wobbly in the current market conditions?
Just take the best advice you can from the accountants, etc., and then talk to other investors as well, and just see what everybody's doing, and then do what's right for you. And that's all you can do, really.
And I think this project is living proof that there is opportunity out there if you can see through the rubbish, through a decrepit pub where there's been lots of issues, and really see the potential of bringing an old space like this back to life, because that in itself is so rewarding, isn't it?
Yeah, tremendously, and it is, you know, it's a pride, you know, it is, without a shadow of a doubt, and it's a different kind of pride. You know, there's a saying that, I don't know, I came across it a while ago, and if you're looking, luck will happen. Look, you know, and that sounds a bit strange, you know, it's like a bit heavy, you know, it's a bit spiritual. No, it's not. Look, if you look at a strategy and start looking at strategies, look at it in your own area, analyse it, in other words, look at it, watch out for it. When you're driving past something, look, because they're the people that then eventually then it starts opening your mind to actually looking in other directions, and that may well be that it leads to an investor. That it may well be that, you know, a connection's made and a deal's possibly done, and suddenly, you know, that does happen, and it's not, you know, heavy. It's just the way of the world, you know, and it's, you know, the best smoozers out there are the guys that are successful, because they're really good at talking to people. And so he's one of the best smoozers I've ever come across. I mean, you know, if he wants to know something, then he just has he's got the skin of a rhino, you know, because it doesn't affect him. You know, like he always says, bless him as well, so, when you've been a ginger all your life, and he does say it, you know, I'm not just saying this, he does say it, and it's true, he just goes, no, I've been a redhead, I've been bullied, and a name like Kim, you know, with Kim, when I was young, it was a girl or a dog that were called Kim. I mean, you know, on a council estate in Thorn, you had to become thin-skinned and that, but having said all that, you know, he's got a way of asking the question, and I've learnt a lot from that, you know, it's the fact that we've got to know each other and ask the question. If you want to know something, then ask it. You know, go out there and ask it, and buy somebody a coffee or have a drink and so on and that. And you don't.
We'll come on to Property Tribes.
I mean, I have to say, I'm not just saying it because you're here, because I've actually been a victim of it's not the right word. I've actually been the target of absolutely true comments to do with what I've done in my past, and so I've done a lot of rent to rent. I mean, I think a lot of people might know it and so on. I've still got 19 now, and I'm proud of it, and we're ethical, and you know, I can go in for hours and hours on what's the rights and wrongs with that. I don't teach it anymore, because this is what I wanted. You know, I wanted to kind of grow myself and kick on and do other things and so on. But absolutely, you know, if you're watching this at the first time and so on, and you want a great resource that's free, you know, and there's some of the guys that are on there, I mean, absolutely just fantastic people that are open, honest and so on. I go to Property Tribes because I've said it to a few other people. Yeah, you have to be honest when you get there, you know, and say it as it is, and at the same time as well, people will answer any questions that are on there. It's an absolutely excellent kind of, you know, forum for people.
Well, it brought us here today together. So
time.
I have to say you guys are such a great team, and it's clear that that's a huge part of your success. Thank you very much for having us here today in Lincoln at your latest development, and been a real pleasure speaking to both of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashes. Thanks for coming.